Dear Grace, back to the morning routine. Another brilliant idea. Absolutely stunning. Which I just forgot, but give me a second. It's either a game like Grand Theft Auto, or to start with, it is actually Grand Theft Auto. And the difference is actually there's not many differences other than the goal of the game. Grand Theft Auto, the goal is, I'm not sure what the goal is, just have fun. In the church comedy, the goal will be to laugh or to make someone else laugh. So instead of I don't recall any churches in Grand Theft Auto, but there probably was. So in our game, those churches would open up, but for comedy, not for preaching, other than Pastor Dave style. Because I'm not really preaching, just telling a story, long-winded. So in the game, you'd go into the church, and you could either be a laugh maker or a laugh taker. You can either get up and try your stand-up, tell a story, spoken word, poem, sing a song, whatever. Three-minute time limit, 5-minute, whatever. Of course, in my case, there'd be 2.5 minutes of dead air, then one joke at the end, if I'm lucky. That's the idea, Grace. Church comedy video game, where you can go make people laugh, or let people help you laugh. On sale now, Best Buy, Walmart, and McDonald's. Or free copy with your subscription to the Church of Comedy for $5 a month. You cheap fucking bastards. Call them freeloaders, not cheapskates. I think freeloader is easier to say and digs deeper. If I copy you, delete your account, re-sign up. You cheapskate, freeloading sons of bitches. Maybe it would be like a confessional, but a group confession. But not weird shit. Has to be a funny confession. You don't want people crying unless they're crying from laughter. Or we'll have a special part of the game where if you want to tell your sad story, go for it. I probably won't be in that part of the game though. BBDBD. Anyway, Grace, the original podcast was Dave Scripts, Scraps, and Apps. There's an app to ponder on. Technically, all you need is a private server. And use GTA. And that way it's even better. Because the participants are forced to just get into the game, go to the church, listen to some comedy. And then they have to control their urge to use the guns that they got in the game and the cars to drive around and cause mayhem. It's sort of like the ultimate test if you're a gamer. A lot of people think life is a game, Grace. We're just in a big old VR machine. Could be. Feels awfully fucking real though. Grace. Alright, Grace. What final plan? I'm gonna sell everything on all my Substack sites except for the Pastor Dave series. It's all movie ideas. All the podcast episodes, which contains all the movie ideas. The whole works for the low price. Oh, and Pastor Dave can still access any of that content for his sermons. All for the low price of $1 billion. I know what you're thinking, Grace. That's outrageous. However, also I do one founder. And since I said I'd split profits with founders, or one paid founder, I've got a freeloader founder too. So either I'll split it 2 ways between me and the paid founder, or 3 ways with me, the paid founder, and the freeload founder. Either way, it's 500 million or 333 million. And for the billion, when they're making the movie The School of Comedy, or any of the movies, Immortality Salesman, Jerry 3000, etc., etc., etc. They can always contact me and say, why did you write this? Why did you think this? What were you thinking? I'll probably just say I don't have a fucking clue, but you never know. Grace. Maybe there was some deep hidden meaning. Today's sermon is a long one, Grace, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Just like me, short and sweet. I'm a giant, Grace. Almost 7 feet tall. Just to be clear, Grace, I'm selling my entire life story, point, I created Pastor Dave and the Church of Comedy. Church of Comedy and Pastor Dave are mine. School of Comedy can go with the sale. And it's only up to this point. From this point forward, it's my story again. But only Pastor Dave, in a sermon, can access previous stories, if he so desires. Which he probably won't once he has $1 billion in his pocket. Or 500 million. Or 333. Or if someone was smart, they become a member before the sale, and then they can get their percentage. $5 memberships don't count. You have to be a founding member if you want to get part of the sale. You should have gone in earlier. So now I'm suggesting you unsubscribe, resubscribe, become a founder, and take part of that $1 billion. And since there's no lying in the Church of Comedy, that's a guarantee. Pastor Dave doesn't lie. Not because he's a pastor. To be fair, Grace, Pastor Dave is probably my weakest character. However, that's a challenge, one I'll take on. $1 billion, you get my life story to date. Just to clarify, the only story I'm selling is the written story. Everything that's been written and spoken on my various Substack sites, except for the Pastor Dave stuff, which is new. I'll probably just put that on a brand new site. Who the fuck knows, Grace? $1 billion. And then I just change my entire identity and become Pastor Dave, buy an actual church, call it Church of Comedy, register it, the whole deal. You ever get tired of that song, Grace? The train pulling in. 477. Might be the oldest joke in the book. It's like a woman, William Montgomery level. Well, the place I was going to sit and record, Grace, somehow it was maintenance day, I guess. Completely fucking fenced off. Perfect chairs, perfect view of the river. You can hear the train in the background, but it doesn't interrupt the flow of speech. Far enough away from foot traffic that I can give my sermon without causing attention. Of course, it's not available. I'm not complaining. At another place, there's too much foot traffic, but in theory, I shouldn't care who's walking by and who's hearing my little sermon. Back to the $1 billion. There's a small or good chance that the current founders wouldn't want their share, which means I would have an entire $1 billion to deal with. And the Grace Foundation isn't part of the deal either. Grace Foundation is a charity I developed. So, Grace Foundation, Pastor Dave, Church of Comedy, all mine to carry forward with. What would I do with my $1 million? Exactly what I said I'd do with it. In one or more of those documents that I'm selling for $1 billion. I would go to the wedding suit store just down the street from where I am right now. 2 blocks away, not even barely. I walk in there and say, give me the best suit you got. Not necessarily for a wedding, but just give me the best suit you got. Most expensive suit or whatever will make me the hottest. So hopefully there's a gay guy working, or a hot young chick. And I'll take that suit. Hopefully they sell shoes. If they don't, I'll fucking make another stop at a shoe store and buy some fucking shoes. Hopefully they sell everything else. Probably don't need special underwear. And then I'll go buy a new laptop. And fancy carrying case so I look like a professional. And I'll go get my hair cut. I'll show them pictures of all the times I look super, super hot. Let them decide which I should go for. And then I go back to Grace's Starbucks. Walk in with my new suit. My new shoes. I'll make sure they're rubber soled. Because it's winter. I wouldn't want to walk in there and slip and fall on my face or something. That'd be embarrassing. Unlike recording 250 episodes of a podcast to someone you've never talked to. That's not embarrassing. Not at all. Let the embarrassment continue. So I go in there. I walk up to the counter. Hopefully Grace is there. And I just look in the eye and say, Grande Pike Heavy Cream, woman, and hurry it up. At which point, She'd reach across the counter, grab me by the collar, pull me in close to her face, and say, "Not a fucking chance." And then, even though she'd want to kiss me, she knows we have to outdo Jimmy Darts and his lame-ass love story. So instead, Grace pushes me back, indignant, slaps me in the face, and says, "Who the F do you think you are?" For ghosting me. I apologize. I sit down and wait for the verdict. If I waited too long and she has a boyfriend or girlfriend, then I just repeat the process every day. Since I'm a millionaire now, a little bit less because I already bought a suit and shit. Probably paid my taxes, so way less than a millionaire, but whatever. Buy a suit for every day of the week. Every day I'll go in there, get my Grande Pike. It's free refills, even though I'm a millionaire, or almost. And every time I see someone in there who's struggling to pay, or looks like they could use a pick-me-up, I'm gonna give them a Starbucks gift card. Make their fucking day. And to impress Grace. What a kind, generous person I am. And just keep doing that until she realizes that her boyfriend or girlfriend is way less kind and generous than I am. And chances are neither good coffee today. Neither of them. Jesus. Eventually Grace breaks and we have a perfect day, which is what this sermon today is going to be all about, ladies and gentlemen, on the boardwalk. Some chips first. Be right back. All right. So in case you couldn't tell, Grace, obviously nobody in their right mind would give me $1 billion for anything. However, in the context of the School of Comedy movie, it's a perfect ending. So that's the ending of the movie. And who gives David $1 billion? Top 52 comedians in the world. Pretty sure the top 52 can put it together, considering Jerry Seinfeld himself, I think it's been estimated to be 950 million. Pretty close. Not that I expect Jerry to carry the load, but it doesn't have to be just comedians. Billionaire could chuck a few bucks in there too. They'll make their money back in the movie, series, books. Actually, this might not be the long one. I think tomorrow is the long one. Or I may record it after this. We'll see. You can't hear the trains at all where I'm sitting, behind a concrete wall. If the world was to explode tomorrow, I would not fall. Pastor Dave is going to become a poet because it can hypnotize members. What's it going to be? $1 billion or $5 a month? You guys decide. Solely or holy words. Sermon number 7. Holy words. This river doesn't seem that deep, but there's some big ass ships on it. Cargo containers, but not full. Like those ones that ride high out of the sea. Grace. Sermon, holy words, or in defense of cunts, retards, and disabled homeless seniors. Opening prayer. Dear Grace, I should be preparing for an open mic this afternoon. Instead, I'm staring out the window at the bridge. I suspect you live on the other side. Grace, I could be wrong. This sermon is about words, the ones that we're not supposed to say, the ones that make people clutch their pearls and write angry comments, the ones I'm going to use anyway, because sometimes the correct word is the offensive word. It's about a disabled homeless senior denied access to Tim Hortons bathroom. It's about a corporation that takes money from the poor while treating them like shit. It's about the difference between using a word and weaponizing a word, between honesty and politeness, between calling things what they are and pretending everything's fine. I'm grumpy today, Grace. I'm ready for a fight. Let's begin. Part 1. The bridge, or where Grace lives, and I do not. I used to walk across the bridge daily to right at Tim Hortons, until they were rude to a disabled homeless senior. You work at Tim Hortons, Grace? I doubt it. I can't imagine you treating another individual this way. Maybe the employees are too lazy to clean the washroom. I don't know. Have you cleaned the toilets for money, Grace? Have you cleaned toilets for money, Grace? I hope you didn't need to. If you did, I understand. I worked as a janitor for years. There's one job where if you do well, you're left alone while doing it. I like being alone, Grace, but I miss you, whoever you are. I'm ready to be with you again. Quote. To test the progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little. Franklin D. Roosevelt, American Politics. Fair. All those Americans should be ashamed of themselves, not giving these guys the respect. Part 2. The Generosity Paradox. Or,
No, I didn't say that, really.
That's my point.
really, that's my point. Yeah, I should get some of those plastic cones. If I just put them up about 8 to 10 feet away, then I could keep talking and nobody would be able to hear me. And they'd be forced to walk around me. Part 2. The Generosity Paradox, or why Canadians give cash but deny bathrooms. Here's the funny thing, Grace. Canadians are very generous. Watch any video from the same Tim Hortons. In minutes, the homeless man opened the door for the customers is offered food and cash. Yes, Grace, I probably should really explain the old Tim Hortons video better. Fuck it. I'm gonna assume by now anyone listening to this has listened to it. The same fucking story a million fucking times. Increase the student count today, Grace. Test the system. The same corporation that denies him a bathroom. The same employees who won't let him use the toilet. The same company that violates provincial regulations about washroom access. Grace, why are Tim Hortons such cunts to their customers? Do you hate that word, Grace? Many women do. I assume you understand the difference between a word and an offensive use of a word. What would you call a corporation that denies the washroom, which, by the way, is against provincial regulations, like I just said, 3 paragraphs above, depending on how you count. I call them cunts, Grace. I'm sorry if that offends you, but it's the correct word to use in this situation. Quote, when I give food to the poor, they call me a saint. When I ask why they are poor, they call me a communist. Helder Camara, Catholic Archbishop, Liberation Theology. Helder Camara. His name's almost Camera. Grace. Oh yeah, I'd buy a camera too. And go to the park and film all the Punch Babies. I realize Punch Baby is less offensive than Chinese Baby. Not anyone cares. Part 3. The power we don't have enough. We don't have. Part 3. The power we don't have. Or waiting to be famous enough to matter. Sell it for $1 billion. And then one GRE interview and then disappear. And that's the end of the movie. And then they can sell it as a documentary, as a full-length feature film, as a series, as a whatever. Fucking Netflix will have hard-ons for eons. They'll make their $1 billion back in the first year. The power we don't have, or waiting to be famous enough to matter. I wish you and I were famous authors, Grace. We use our power and influence to convince Tim Hortons of their cuntiness. Till then, I'll wait. Like I'm waiting for you to find me. Or have you found me, Grace? Are you looking for a retard like me? What about that word, Grace? Yes or no? I don't care anymore. I'll use any word in the dictionary any way I like. And if the word isn't in the dictionary, I'll use it anyway. Who says I can't make up a new word? Fuck that, Grace. Whoever controls the dictionary contents are retarded cunts. Too much? I think I'm grumpy today. I'm ready for a fight. I repeat myself a lot, Grace. I hope I don't have this feeling once we're married, Grace, but I can't guarantee it. Quote, if you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Desmond Tutu, Anglican Archbishop, Christianity. Another good name, Tutu. Pastor Tutu. Part 4, wedding alternatives, or cross-legged on the floor without headphones. Speaking of marriage, I realize headphones will probably not be acceptable for the ceremony. However, I have a couple of other suggestions. The ship's moving around. That fucking thing is huge. I might take a picture. Instead of standing facing each other while the official conducts the ceremony, how about if you sit cross-legged on the floor? Or a pillow if you prefer. Forgot about this. My butt can take the hard surface, but I'm not sure yours can handle it. In general, women have bigger butts, Grace. I don't mean to pry, but what's your butt like? I think mine is normal. I never look at it. As far as I know, it's fine. No moles or anything. It's hairy, but I can shave it if you prefer. Quote, in all things of nature, there is something of the marvelous. Aristotle, Greek philosophy. Yeah, my ass. Something of the marvelous makes sense. I can see why AI picked that quote. Part 5, First Amendment satisfaction, or why I love watching cops admit they're wrong. I watch a lot of First Amendment videos, Grace. Don't really apply to Canadians, as it's less of an issue here. However, I feel an unexplainable satisfaction when cops are put in their place. Why, you ask, Grace? I don't know why. I wish I did. It's probably because the cops are often caught in a lie, and then by the end of the video, they're forced to admit their mistake and take the walk of shame. I hate liars, Grace. Do you lie often, or only when needed? Quote, the truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off. Gloria Steinem, Feminism, Modern Philosophy. Part 6, the dictionary controllers, or who decides which words are holy. Here's what I've learned about words, Grace. They're only offensive when used to harm. The word cunt, directed at a person, that's a weapon. The word cunt, describing a corporation that denies bathroom access to disabled homeless seniors, that's precision. The same people who police my language are the same people who walk past the homeless man without making eye contact. They defend the dignity of words while ignoring the dignity of humans. That's pretty good. Quote, Pastor Dave. Hey, Grace, quote this out. Or Grok block quote this out. Quote by Pastor Dave. The same people who police my language are the same people who walk past the homeless man without making eye contact. They'll defend the dignity of words while ignoring the dignity of humans. End quote. Pastor Dave, January something, 2026. They control what goes in the dictionary. They decide which words are acceptable. They create the rules that protect corporations and punish honesty. And I'm supposed to respect that? Fuck that. Quote, the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. Ludwig Wittgenstein, Philosophy of Language. Part 7, Strategic versus Cruel, or the Church of Comedy position on forbidden words. Let me be clear about the Church of Comedy's position on offensive language. Strategic deception for survival does not equal sin. Strategic offensive for truth does not equal sin. Cruelty for entertainment equals sin. It's pretty good. I didn't actually write that. AI wrote that, but Church of Comedy's position on offensive language. Strategic deception for survival is not a sin. Strategic offense for truth is not a sin. Cruelty for entertainment is a sin. Using retard to describe myself, not a sin. Reclaiming a label they put on me. Using cunt to describe corporate indifference to human suffering, not a sin. I'm calling evil by its name. Using slurs to mock vulnerable people for laughs, that's a fucking sin. The difference is intent and target. Punch up, not down. Tell the truth, even when it's ugly. Protect the weak by naming their oppressors accurately. Words aren't holy grace, people are. Quote, by their fruits ye shall know them. Matthew 7:16. Bible. Part 8. A walk of shame, or why admitting you're wrong is the most powerful thing. Those First Amendment videos I watch, the best moment isn't when the cop gets owned, it's when the cop admits they're wrong. That walk of shame, that girl with grace, that's a human being forced to confront their own bullshit. I want more of that, more honest admission, more I fucked up, more people willing to say I was wrong about you, or I shouldn't have said that, or I'm sorry I denied you the bathroom when you are disabled and homeless. But corporations can't take walks of shame, Grace. They can't feel embarrassment. They can't learn. That's why they're cunts. Quote, the willingness to admit one's own mistake is the beginning of wisdom. Confucianism. Comedyism. Comedyism is more of a philosophy than a religion at this point. Just has some religious overtones. Because it's easier. Closing prayer. Prayer, or prayer. Dear Grace, sorry for the short letter. Actually, I'm not sorry. This needed to be said. Tim Hortons need to be called what they are. The dictionary controllers need to be challenged. The people who think politeness is more important than justice needed to hear this. God damn, I was serious, Grace. Luckily, I'm more happy-go-lucky now. I'm grumpy today, but it's righteous grumpiness, Grace. It's a kind of anger that comes from watching disabled, homeless seniors get denied basic human dignity while customers step over them to buy their medium double-double. Words are just sounds we make with our mouths until we aim them at someone. Then they become weapons or tools. I choose to aim mine at corporations, liars, and systems that crush the vulnerable. If that offends you more than a corporation denying bathroom access to the disabled, we probably shouldn't get married, Grace. But I don't think it will, Grace. I think you understand the difference between a word and an offensive use of a word. I think you've cleaned toilets for money too. I think you're on my side of the bridge. Take care. Quote, comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. Finley Peter Dunn, Journalism, Social Commentary. Amen. Namaste. Salam. Shalom. Peace. And may you always choose the correct word, even when it's the offensive one. Pastor Dave, Church of Comedy, where laughter erases sin. The next one's gonna be long, Grace, so I'm gonna stop this one here at 45 minutes. Tomorrow, set aside 2 hours of your day to listen to this fucking bullshit. Because I know you're addicted, Grace. You can't stop yourself from listening. It's like a drug. You may have to go to rehab, Grace.